Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? It's your man, Immanuel, back with a new episode of Why We Succeed. And today, y'all can see I got a very special returning guest on the podcast, my girl, Nicole. What's going on with you?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing amazing. Super excited to have you back on here. The last time around, you were on a panel where you and the other ladies were just dropping so many gems, but I had to have you come back on here because you recently made a transition in the business world, and I want to learn a little bit more about it, and I know it's going to help a lot of our audience as well. But one thing I always like to do before we kick things off, I want to know, what is your definition for success? How do you define it?
That is crazy because I've been going in like a mindset transition too, because I used to think success was like getting to a certain stage in your life or having a
Mhm.
certain amount of accomplishments. But now my terms of success is really making sure you're enjoying the journey.
Mm.
And it's been such a complete 180 because before it's like, no, get to these goals. But now it's just like, if you can be, you'll be so much more successful if you just literally take a step back and enjoy exactly where you are right now in the process of the journey. So if you can do that, then I feel like you're going to be successful.
I love that. I love that. Yo, that's one of the things that I think most people fail to do is enjoy the journey. So seeing that that's a part of success and tying it to it really helps people to, kind of shift their mindset and say, hey, maybe that is something that I should put a little bit more emphasis on.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about 5 ways to get paid to travel the world. And, that kind of brings us back to what I mentioned before. Last time around you were on the show, you were deep into social media and content management, building up your agency, helping out your clients in a major way. And I've been on your IG. I've been, when I get on there here and there, and I see you've been all over the world, Paris, Dubai, all of these amazing places. And come to find out, you're not just traveling for leisure, but you about your big business. You a whole travel boss out here. And
Yeah.
I want to know, how'd you make that transition? What that look like for you?
The transition came easy for me because of my love for travel. So when the opportunity presented it to itself, it was literally a no-brainer. And I was really able to connect with my audience on a deeper level. So actually get to meet them in person,
Yeah.
hear their stories, hear their backgrounds, hear their passions. It really was a good way to connect offline and,
Mhm.
really meet the people that have been supporting you from day one. So that was one of the big, like, okay, I really want to do this. I really want to meet more people. And I love to travel. And I want to help so many other people travel because some people have like this idea of fear over travel.
Mhm.
They're scared to go, out of the country. And I just want to help more people, just experience more, experiences and cultures. So that's like one of my big whys.
Nah, that's dope. And you mentioned that that travel is something that you've been passionate for some while. And I'm curious, like, what helped you to kind of realize that, hey, I can actually turn this passion that I have into a business, right? Because we hear this all the time. People always are like, yo, how can I get paid to do what I love? How can I tie my passion to my profession? And it seems like you were able to successfully do that. So how did things click for you in that manner?
So it definitely comes with time.
Mm.
So the way I'm able to get paid for travel is because one, I built a personal brand.
Mhm.
That has played a big, big role in me being able to transition into this new career so fast and actually have success in it like immediately. It's because I built that community, as I talked about on the previous podcast. I built a
Yeah.
community and really took my time to actually get to know the people inside of my community instead of just building a following.
Mhm.
So that played a big part. Also, I did partner with somebody as well. So I definitely have a business partner. So that was another part of the transition.
Mhm.
And then lastly, it's because one, I am a licensed travel agent as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm getting paid in multiple ways just to travel. So I'm getting paid by hosting retreats. That's
Mhm.
one way you can get paid. And I'm having a program coming out for
Mhm.
people, entrepreneurs like yourself. Like you're like, hey, like I want to host a retreat, and
Yeah.
you're thinking it's so like you think you got to put down like $30,000. I'm here to tell you that the way that I'm doing it and the way that I'm going to be teaching other entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
it's a minimum risk guaranteed.
Mm,
So you don't have to put up a big front, like you don't have to
yeah.
put up a big a load of money. You don't have to save a lot. And the profit margins are amazing.
Wow. Yo, and that's a huge part of business, right?
Yes.
That's one of the reasons why most people keep things within like that internet online space as opposed to kind of transitioning into, those brick and mortar type style businesses. And it's interesting because you are traveling and going to different places, different countries. And how do you manage that, right? Like, because I've had conversations with, people who are event planners and they talk about the stress of planning events, and that can just be at one location where you already live. But how does that work when it comes to like hosting in a completely different country that you don't live in?
It goes back to being passionate about it. So like I love traveling like outside of the country. I love traveling. I love all of it. So in the heat of like you really being stressed out and
Hmm.
you're making sure everything goes well, you are still it's like this thrill and excitement because I'm doing something that I love. So
Yeah.
it's worth the stress. It's worth, all of the things, the uncertainties, but you just got to literally have faith and know that you're going to be
Yeah.
okay. You're covered. And you just, have fun with it. Like
Right.
that's literally the name of the game. I think because I love travel so much,
Hmm.
it's like the excitement, takes over the cons.
Nah, that's real. And the key thing there is the fact that that stress still exists. It's just being able to kind of manage it and power through it, and also ultimately look at what matters most, which is the passion that you have, that fun that you're going to have, that experience that you're going to be creating for the people who are going to join you in those places.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
that's
plays a
dope.
big part because I love creating the entire experience.
Yeah. Now, out of all of the places that you've gone, tell me which have been some of the more memorable experiences that you've had.
Bali for sure.
Okay.
That was when I figured out I wanted to be a digital entrepreneur.
Mm,
So that was like a life changing moment going to Asia. My other favorite is Prague. A lot of people
mm,
haven't been there, but it's like
nah.
beautiful. The architecture, they have castles. The people are amazing. They're so nice.
Yeah.
And then my last one, I'm gonna say Singapore.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, Singapore, it's very like they have a lot of rooftops, they have a lot of
Mhm.
networking for entrepreneurs. So it's just like that upscale, environment. Like there's only rooftops in Singapore and
Yeah.
only good food. So it was
Wow.
a really great experience, but very hot.
Yeah. So here's a question, right? Like when you go into all of those different countries, and in many cases they speak different languages. Like, how do you manage the language barrier when you're going from one country to the next?
There are so many nice people when you're traveling. So they like some people like to help you out, but
Hmm.
honestly, Google Translate.
Yo, that's real. That's real. Keep it a buck.
Yeah, I thought like literally like Google Translate. You type it as like, "Hey, can you help me
That's a
get here?"
godsend, right?
Mm-hmm.
A translator in your pocket.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people that speak English, so
Okay.
it's like for us, like in America, we only
Hmm.
basically speak English. So, but when
Yeah.
you go over there, most of the people speak more than two languages. So,
Yeah. See, that's the benefit of non-American countries.
yep.
Like they understand the value in learning more than one language. And I guess, being in America, like we do kind of have that advantage of the fact that our language is, what they would consider, I think they call like the lingua franca, where,
Mm-hmm.
it is that language that you can pretty much go anywhere and there's somebody that typically speaks it.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Definitely helps. And before we start kind of get into the business thing, I think it's always kind of important to lay the foundation of, just what this experience is like for not just you as a host and other people who want to get into this type of business, but also the experience that you have for, your customers and your clients. I'm sure you've had to answer this question, so I want to get your take on it. As a woman traveling all of these different countries, like how do you stay safe? Like how do you manage to not get taken advantage of or have things happen when you're in a foreign country?
Honestly, I don't think about those things. I only think about,
Interesting. Okay.
like literally, I don't think about those things. Like I don't put that in my energy. I don't put that
Hmm.
in my aura because I know that, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be watching myself. You don't
Right.
want to go out to be clubbing and drinking like
Mhm.
overly. You definitely want to stay somewhat alert.
Mhm.
So just, a lot of these places, a lot of people think that it's like someone's like out to get you. There's so many other tourists. You just got to make sure like what you do your research
Mhm.
beforehand. You go with a group. Some people
Yeah.
travel solo, but like if you're just new to traveling, you have
Mhm.
to go with some people.
Yeah.
And they have Ubers there. Just do your research. That's
Right.
literally the name of the game. You'll
Nah,
you'll
that's
be
good.
fine. Trust me, you will be fine.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the business side of things because I'm sure that's what our audience wants to know about, right? So like, what's exactly required in order for somebody to turn their passion for travel into a legitimate money making business?
One, you would definitely want to become a travel agent. And if you guys are interested, I do have a link where you guys can sign up under me. And I do offer a free mentorship for about 3 months to help you get off the ground with your travel business.
Okay.
But if you really want to turn up the heat, you can host retreats. That's what I do. If you are an entrepreneur, you already have a community, and you're like, hey, I don't want to go full time with travel, but I would
Mhm.
love to, make 30K, 50K, for my retreat. And it's so
Mhm.
possible. We have done it. So that's for the entrepreneurs and the digital creators that have a community already. I
Mhm.
could definitely teach you how to set that up so that you're able to get those profit margins as well. But if you're someone that doesn't have like an audience, I would recommend you start selling like special deals, create a travel page, really go in that route so that
Mhm.
you can sell travel to your family, your friends, or anybody that may come across your social media page by using content.
Yeah. That's so important. That's so important. And another thing that often comes up is people have the concern about oversaturation, right? And when you look at the travel industry, it's like, yo, maybe that industry is oversaturated. There's so many people that are doing that. How do you allow your business, your retreats to stand out from everybody else that's in that industry?
Branding and marketing. It's all about positioning yourself as the expert and making sure you have that space for authority.
Hmm.
So if you position yourself well with your content, with your branding, you'll be able to stand out. But if you are not going the extra mile, so for example, I'll give you guys one gem.
Please.
If you like are hosting retreats, like you want to kind of add your own flair to it. So inside of the retreats that I host, we host masterminds. So we have speakers come, so people are getting more than just the travel experience. They're walking away with knowledge that they can apply to their business or, maybe I tell people you never know when you're going to make your next $10,000. Like coming on
Yeah.
this trip, you can meet somebody that wants your service or wants to hire you. So you're always making sure you're in those types of rooms. So like for us, that's
Hmm.
how we stand out
Hmm.
other than other retreats and other travel agents.
Okay, that makes sense. And when you're hosting these events, I'm assuming that there's a cap on how many people are attending. And if so, like,
Yes.
what have you found to be like that sweet spot when it comes to the amount of people to actually have?
It depends. So basically, it depends on the country. It depends
Hmm.
on like the trip. So for example, if we're just going to one location,
Hmm.
definitely up to 30. But
Okay.
if we're traveling in multiple locations, like we did Paris, Nice, and Monaco,
Yeah,
that
y'all was balling.
no, no, that one I would say like a smaller group, no more than 10,
Okay.
because like you're going between different countries, like the time difference. So you just want to kind of have a smaller group, more
Hmm.
intimate. But like for the one we're going into Dubai, that
Hmm.
one we're only going to one location. So
Yeah.
I would say like 30 probably will be your
Hmm.
max. And thinking about 30, like your profit margins go from $1,000 to about $3,000,
Okay.
depending on how you set up your trips,
Hmm.
what else, other things that you add in there, which is important.
Yeah. So since you've done both, where you've done the events where it's just one location and you've also done the ones where it's in multiple different countries, like what's your preference? What have you found to be the better experience and the more profitable experience?
The one location,
Yeah.
but you'll get more. That's the easy route. But
Hmm.
if you want more of an intimate experience, so when it's
Hmm.
more intimate and less people, you're able to charge more because
Yeah.
you're giving more time to those individuals.
Right.
So it's just like preference. Like for me, I like to travel. So I like the
Hmm.
multiple locations, but I can't do a lot of people on the multiple locations.
Right.
But for the single, it's easier.
Hmm.
But I feel like it's all about, like, for me, I'm a travel person. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to go to multiple. So
Right. You want more stamps on that passport.
definitely.
I totally get that. Nah, that's dope. So let's kind of get into the five specific ways that people can start, getting paid to travel the world. What are they?
Okay, the first one is hosting your own retreats.
Hmm.
The second one is securing brand deals as well. I didn't talk about that one as much. Securing brand deals with hotels, restaurants,
Okay.
becoming a travel agent,
Mm.
so that you can sell retreats to, not retreats, sell trips to family members or people that just want to travel. The fourth one would be to start a personal brand,
Hmm.
again, and get more people to come travel just with you. It doesn't even have to be a retreat.
Hmm.
To say you're hosting an event. And then the last one would be, if you wanted to come under me and my travel agency, you
Hmm.
can build your own team underneath. So the people that you bring into your team, you get paid off of their commission as well.
Okay. Yo, that's dope right there. So out of those out of those five, which do you feel it has like the least barrier of entry? So if somebody's listening to this, they're like, yo, I'm kind of excited. This is something that I want to do. Which one do you think that they can kind of just immediately hit the ball running and, take after it?
Sell trips to family and friends.
Okay.
If you have no like prior experience, like you don't have a brand, to start selling trips to family and friends,
Okay.
start there.
Okay. And I want to clarify. I know you had mentioned earlier that one of the requirements is becoming a travel agent. Is that required for all five of those ways?
No, that's the only one. Like if you're selling just for your family and friends, you will have to be a travel agent.
Hmm.
But for me, I do have a program where if you wanted to start your own retreat, I'm helping entrepreneurs and creators build that out. So you won't even have to be a travel agent. You'll just go through me and
Okay.
you'll still build out your own retreat.
Nice, nice. Okay, yo, I'm digging this. I'm digging this. So, another question that I wanted to kind of dive into is with regards to who is this like a really good fit for? I know some people may be thinking, oh, maybe this is only good for content creators or influencers. Is there anybody else who this business model could work for?
People that love to travel. I recommend people that really have a passion for travel,
Hmm.
because with anything, it comes with ups and downs. So, like, you're going to have to get on social media. You're going to have to start building out a brand. And if you don't like the travel, it's going to be hard to kind of promote those things,
Hmm.
because people need to see visuals.
Right.
They don't want to see like the package. Okay, you can go
Yeah.
here. So I recommend it for people that are looking to, one, start a side hustle,
Hmm.
and two, want to travel more for free. If you want to take the route that I'm teaching, make sure you guys go to my Instagram at Toldbynik, and DM me retreat if you're interested in starting your own retreat for your community. That's going to be super big.
Yes.
um, yeah, so don't forget to do that. And yeah.
Cool, cool. So the other thing that kind of I wanted to dive into when I'm looking at those three different ways is for the people who decide that they want to host, what would you say are the things that they need to do to essentially start doing that? Like outside of, getting the travel agency, is it just a matter of creating the event, picking a location, and then starting the promo, or are there some steps in between that they need to be aware of?
If someone wanted to host a retreat, let me see. You would definitely have to figure out where you're going to host the event. All
Hmm.
right, it's a lot of more logistics, more than I can even
Yeah.
go into. I can't give all my secrets out.
Right, right, yo, that's what the program is for,
Yes, that's
yo.
what the program is for. But if you wanted to host, I can give you three steps. Is one, pick
Mhm.
the event, pick the location, and figure out your marketing strategy.
Okay, yeah. And one of the things that we talk about here on the podcast is, essentially how to get more sales, how to get more clients from email, video, and podcasts. And I'm curious, are you using any of those three to help you with building this business?
I'm using just content marketing at the
Okay,
moment, and email marketing.
okay.
Those are the only two steps, and also live events. So more networking parties.
Hmm.
Really actually meeting people, face to face, that's been working for us really well.
Nice. And which of those methods or strategies has been the most effective for you when it comes to actually getting people to sign up?
Content marketing.
Okay. And does that kind of go back to what you were mentioning with regards to people being able to see, like, hey, I see you there, like they can relate and see the
Yes.
experience that they're going to get?
Yes, and building out an entire campaign around it.
Okay.
So that comes with graphics, promos, like all that good stuff.
Nice, nice. Yo, well, if our viewers and our audience want to get in touch with you, work with you, join you on one of your next excursions, how can they do that?
Yes, you guys can head over to my Instagram, send me a DM and say, send me a DM and say retreat. And so we can talk about or travel, whichever one you want to talk about. Yeah, send me a DM saying travel. And let's talk. I want to know where you're at in your business. I want to know what position. Are you an influencer? Are you a creator, entrepreneur, or someone looking to start a new side hustle? And then we'll talk in the DMs and we'll go from there.
Perfect. Perfect. Yo, Nicole, you always come on, drop gems. I'm excited for you. And, I pray that you have continued success with your new business. And with that in mind, just kind of give us a little tease. What are some locations that you're working on going next?
We're going to Bali. We're going to South Africa. We're going to Costa Rica. We're going to Italy. We're going to go back to Paris and we're going to go back to Dubai. And I think I said Mexico. Yeah, Tulum.
Okay. Yeah. So is this like the 2023 and 2024 roster?
That's the 2024 roster.
Okay. Okay. 2024. Okay. Cool. Cause I'm about to be like, man, it's September. Y'all about to be all over the place.
No, this Dubai is going to be our last trip for the year.
Okay.
But all of our trips will. So if you're watching this and you want to come travel with me, please go to my Instagram. Make sure you follow me and put on my post notifications. Because in this month of September, well, it's still August, September, we're going to be revealing all the trips. And I'm telling you, the spots will fill up quickly. We do have buy now and pay later options. So there's no excuse as to why you are not getting a stamp on your passport or you're not meeting us in Dubai September or any other trips that we have coming up for you guys.
Amazing. Well, Nicole, thank you again for coming on the podcast, dropping some gems, teaching us how we can get into, traveling the world and getting paid to do it. I absolutely love that idea. I think that it's a very, very enticing business model and, definitely one that you can help people who want to get into it. So I appreciate you for that. And, you got an open invitation. If you ever want to come back and be a guest on the podcast, we'd love to have you do that. But thank you so much for everything that you share with us today. I truly appreciate you.
Of course. Thanks for having me. And I will definitely be back. Just let me know. Just send me a DM. I'll be here.
Perfect. We will definitely make it happen. Thank you.
Of course.